Now, please tell me that you have seen this ad for a mop that can suck up a hamburger. What? Why on earth is that even necessary? Those were my first thoughts when I saw these ads for MopRobo. But I want you to stop everything that you're doing right now. I want you to come and join me because we are going to talk all about MopRobo, what it is, what it actually does, and if it's worth the money at all. Hey there, friends. I consider myself to be quite the connoisseur of floor cleaning products. I have a large family. I have all solid surface floors, and part of my path to sustainability is finding ways to work smarter and not harder. And these types of mops definitely are keys to my success of sanity. And anybody with solid surface floors of any degree in their home should take these seriously. So while I have tried many different types and mops and things like that, this MopRobo one really kept standing out to me. I kept seeing the commercials, and at first, they were the ones of it sucking up a burger, and I was like, who on earth could eat that? But then I kept seeing them, and I kept watching reviews like this, and so I said, you know what? I did receive a mop from MopRobo, okay? It's right back there. We're going to be talking all about her here in just a second. I received it because I reached out to them and I leveraged my platform here on YouTube and totally did the cheesy thing and said, hey, I am so intrigued by your mop. Can we work together? Please, 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 please. I am dying to try this thing out. So I did do that. I got her from MopRobo, but I'm going to give you my absolute honest breakdown. You are going to get more information in this video of like a real house, and you're going to see me really clean a dirty, not perfect house with stuff still sitting on my table. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about this mop. I'm going to have chapters linked down below. If you're in a hurry or you're looking for an answer specifically, you'll have it down there. I want to talk to you guys about why I got this, what I'm dealing with here, what we're putting this mop through is more than the average family. I do understand, so I think that is a relative, comment to cover. We are going to talk about how to use it, getting started, kind of what you need. We're going to talk about how the cleanup process works and some little quirks and things I found in that. I want to talk about what sets MopRobo apart, because this actually is not a vacuum mop, okay? This is a pickup mop. It is not a vacuum at all. And there's a difference in that, and I'm going to tell you what the benefit to that is that I have found that I absolutely love. So we'll talk about that. And then I'm going to give you would I purchase? Would I make the investment and get one of these guys over here? Because they are a bit of an investment. So let's dive into it. Now, like I said, I have gone through many, many vacuum mops. Name any big brand that you've seen out there, I've had it. I've used it. Over the past 5 years, I have lived off of using vacuum mops. I think that working smarter, not harder is incredibly important, especially for me. I am a busy mom. I'm a homeschool mom. I am a homestead mom. I work from home. Like, we are always here. My floors being clean is like that one thing that makes me feel accomplished, and it is the largest surface area that we have in our home, and so when we take care of it wisely and well, I think that makes just the most amount of sense. Now, something that makes our home probably a little bit different than maybe even yours is the sheer amount of traffic that goes through my little old 1977 home is quite a lot, okay? We have 14 people here. You heard that right. 14 people here. Coming in and out of the house alone are 7 dogs, okay? Throughout my day, I have 7 dogs coming in and out of my home. We have others that are out on our property, our livestock guardian dogs. They do not come in the house. Thank goodness. I could not imagine if I had to deal with their mess too. But I've got 7 going in and out. Also going in and out of my house on a daily basis are 7 cats. So that is 28 things, living beings, bringing muck in and out of my house all day long. We also live on acreage out in the country, and so the amount of just debris that makes its way in on the daily is more than the average suburban home, okay? So I am talking high traffic, high mess. I need something heavy duty. If I could have an industrial floor cleaner like you see in Walmart going through my house each day, I would, okay? But what really stood out to me when I started watching reviews and all the different things about this were people talking about this machine it's like 1.7, 1.8 pounds of like pressure that the roller brush puts down like onto the ground to really scrub it. What I was finding is I could mop my floors every single day with my other vacuum mops, and every single day they were just as dirty as the day before, because all of that stuff that's on the ground, while it was getting somewhat wiped up, it was kind of like an in-between. If Swiffer's over here, MopRobo's over here, those vacuum mops are kind of these like in-between products. And so what really sold me on MopRobo was that it scrubs, it deep cleans, like nitty gritty, dried on gunk you want, like for real. That's what it said this did. And so that's what really sold me here with this model. So as far as setup, first impressions, it comes very nicely packaged, which I appreciate. Sometimes our mail services are not so kind to packages, so thank you. It's nice to know when you've put a good chunk of investment into something that at least is going to get to you safely. And I think their packaging does all that they can to try to, make that the case for you. So I appreciated that. I feel kind of weird saying this about a mop, but it is so pretty. Like, the way to go, MopRobo. Y'all's marketing team is on point, because not only is the social media and the stuff that they put out just absolutely, fantastic. They really do a good job with that. But they have designed this to be just as beautiful and aesthetically pleasing as it is a workhorse and, really an asset to your arsenal of keeping your home. And so this looks fantastic. Super easy to put together. It looks very luxe. It looks very high end. It looks very heavy duty though. Like, nothing felt flimsy, which I really appreciate. Like, it is easy to pick up and move around. I have bad hands. I have some hand issues, so I have a hard time holding on to stuff. It really isn't difficult to move around. So it's not heavy as far as that, but like, it has a weight to it that it feels quality. It feels substantial, which I really, really appreciate. So setting up, first impressions, this thing is fantastic. I mean, it looks like what it looks like in all of those reels you watch online, and you're like, they're always like the really pretty house and everything looks so perfect, and you're like, oh, okay, sure, wouldn't that be nice? But then I got it and I was like, wow, this thing really does look that nice. So that was quite fantastic. My first usage, I love, they send you a cleaner here with it. It's their sea salt and citrus. I think it smells delicious, but not overpowering, not super fake or anything like that. And it you only have to use one little capful. So this stuff is, I've washed my floors so many times already. I wanted to really test this out before I did this video, and I still have like nearly a full container. It's really super simple. You just add water to the container, add a capful of solution, put it on, you are good to go. Super, super simple. It has its charging base, you put it on, that's what cleans it, dries it. We'll get to all of that. It's fantastic. Usage was amazing. You turn it on and it like lights up and talks to you. It does all of this cool stuff and you just get going. It really is that easy. It's got a self-propeller in it, so it's really simple to move around. My 7-year-old could mop the whole house. It's really, really, really simple and easy to use. My grandfather in his 80s to my daughter who is 7, they both could move this thing around with ease. Okay, it is really, really fantastic in that way. It has a trigger on it that you can pull if you want it to like put out some extra oomph. If you are, I found, yucky messes that had dried up on the floor and under the table and stuff like that, you can give that trigger an extra squeeze if you need a little extra more to get through an extra dirty spot or something like that. But otherwise, it just goes all right on its own. What I found that was so great is I felt like I could really go for a long while without needing to refill the water or empty out the dirty water bin. And even when I had to empty out the dirty water bin, I still had more water in the cleaning solution to keep going. So I really appreciated that I could get a lot of ground covered in just one fill up, in one charge. I mean, I can do my whole house and that battery is still good and going. And again, my entire house is solid surface floors. Clean up on this thing, piece of cake. When you're done, you're ready to put this back, you literally just wheel it into its little charger cleaner all in one base, and you just pull the trigger to activate the cleaning process. And what that's going to do is it's going to flush the water through, it's going to clean everything out. It will alert you when it is done, so you can just pop out the little dirty water tank and pour out the liquid. It has an amazing little catch-all tank. Any big stuff any gunk, any debris that it's picked up, it will keep all that in a nice little basket that you can throw away in the trash, give it a rinse off, dump out the fluid, rinse that out. That's it. That is your entire cleanup process. There like isn't any tubing or extra weird funky areas you can't get to get nasty, which I really, 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 really appreciate. The other thing that sets them apart is that they have these magic hair wands, okay? Again, 14 people. Most of us are girls. Most all of us have very long hair. 14 animals coming in and out of my house. You all don't even understand the amount of hair between my robotic vacuum that runs twice a day, every day, and then using MopRobo with the amazing magic hair wand. You do not understand how much hair my products have to pick up. So I'm going to show you how that works here. But you want to talk about picking up some real stuff, we're putting it to the test. This sits on there and it just automatically rolls. It's like a Velcro, and it picks up the hair as it mops. It just wraps it all up on this. When this gets full of hair, you drop it as you're filming. When this gets full of hair, you just take it out and replace it. They send you with a handful of these in it. You can buy more if you need to replace them. Really super duper simple. So I was like, why aren't they all doing this? That is genius. That's your cleanup process. You put it on the thing, you click the button, you let it run, you dump the dirty water tank. When it goes ding, we're done. You can take your dirty water tank, and then to top it all off, because this thing is that cool, it continues to run. It's at a very low volume. We have it right here in the main part of our house, and I didn't even really hear it, I know it was doing something, but then we just went about our business. And so it, I'm sure, made like some noise, but just in the normal general noise of the house, I didn't even notice it running. It dries the entire scrubber pad. So it cleans it and then it dries it like to the touch. I put paper towels on it to like pat it down. It was dry. So I thought that was fantastic. So I'm not having, like I've had with all of my other mops, no matter how well I clean them out, and heaven forbid if you forgot to clean it out, you get a stench like no other. I've had zero of that with this thing, and I've had it for almost a month now that I've been using it consistently just to really test it out before we did this video. Nothing. It's fantastic. So there's a couple special things I want to share. What sets it apart, the drawbacks, and what I actually purchased this. So let me explain those to you just so you are getting all the information you could possibly receive. So in using this, there are a couple things that really set this mop apart, and these are like those key factors that I think you should know before making an investment on something like this. Like I said in the beginning, it's not a vacuum. It is like a sweeping mop. It sweeps, it mops, it picks everything up. It is not a vacuum. There is no like force pulling everything up. They're instead just using simple physics, right? To have something with some pressure that is sweeping everything up and moving it. It's fantastic. I actually love that so much because this thing is so much quieter when it runs. For me, ideally, as a busy mom, being able to like mop all my floors first thing in the morning before my household even gets up and going would be ideal, because everybody's in bed, right? I could get it all done. But with my other ones, it never failed that they were so much noisier that the moment I would get started, it would wake people up, people would come out, and it's like most people, the first thing you want going in the morning isn't a vacuum, going when you're trying to sleep. So it kind of was just one of those things that never worked out. I have to wait till later in the day, and then people would walk through my floors and that would drive me crazy. This thing is so much quieter. I can mop up my entire house before anyone wakes up and nobody even notices that anything's happening. Like they might hear a slight hum, but that's it. So it technically not being a vacuum, I think, is an absolute plus. Don't let that dissuade you from thinking it doesn't have a lot of power and a lot of pickup, because that is not true, okay? But it is not a vacuum, so it is actually quite quiet. The other thing that really sets us apart for me really was how the force of the roller brush scrubs. I am telling you, things that are caked onto the floor come up with ease. Things that you might come upon, messes and spills, like I think it looks ridiculous in the little reels when you see it scoop up a burger, and I'm like, really, who can just pick up a burger? But then it's amazing if the kids are sitting at the table and somebody spills their bowl of pasta. it's kind of silly that it's like, wow, instead of having to come over here and pick everything up and then do that, I really can just take this and like roll over it and it's no big deal. If I'm cleaning up after breakfast or something and the kids were eating oatmeal or, there's messes that got spilled, I can just roll over it. It picks everything up. It doesn't gunk it up. I dump out the little debris basket. I rinse out the bin. I put it on its stand. It really is that simple and that easy. And so between, moving couches and all the hair and debris that's underneath it, big messes that I am finding, clots of mud that's gotten tracked in on the bottom of somebody's boots, it picks all of that up and I don't have to worry about any of it. And it is actually scrubbing my floors. And so I'm noticing that I could go longer periods without even needing to mop because it's scrubbing them so well. I'm really enjoying using this thing, and so I'm not going longer periods, but that's just because I love getting to come out and be like, ha, I can clean all of my floors right now. Look at this. This is fantastic. So I'm sure I'll come down off of that at some point, maybe, but it really does scrub. Things that are caked on come right up. I literally can run over stuff a couple times, literally a couple sweeps, and it picks it all up with no trace of anything left behind. And because the water is squirting onto the roller pad as it goes, it's cleaning it as soon as it gets it picked up. And so you're not just spreading the mess all over the place. Really, really appreciate that these key things here set this mop apart full scale. The only drawbacks that I have found, and again, I've been using this thing like crazy in my home. I didn't mop for weeks before I got this just to really make sure that my floors were as gross as they possibly could be, okay? I really did because I wanted to put this thing through the works. The only drawbacks that I have found, one is one that I was expecting, and so I'm going to share it with you because if you are like me and you have 14 people and 14 animals going in and out of your house every single day, you might find this. I was expecting this because of how many animals specifically we have. Every mop that I have ever owned ends up getting clogged up with animal hair, okay? Because again, 14 animals moving in and out of my home throughout the day, that's a lot of hair. What I found is when I ran the cleaning cycle on it, it cleans it really well. But when I popped off the top lid, up at the top ridge, there was some hair that had backed up in there. Again, I expected that because every single one of these mops, that happens. Normally though, it's clogged up the whole thing and I have to like get tools and get it all out of there, and I have to put it in the bathtub and dismantle the entire thing and take it all apart. That is not the case with this one. I pop off the top. There's one button, a simple click. It's really simple to do. I can pop off the whole roller pad, give it a nice good rinse, put it back on, run the cleaning cycle and drying cycle. So one of the drawbacks I did want to mention, because I was expecting it, but I did see it, is if you are talking large, abnormal quantities of hair, like we have with 14 animals going in and out of our house, it did back up some. It really wasn't that bad, but it does back up some. So I wanted to share that. Really, really simple to clean out. The second thing I noticed was we have an old home, old floors. Our floors are not even, okay? Our floors are old and wonky. This happens with every single product I've ever used, from the little kind of robotic ones that you just put around the floor, even just a Swiffer, honestly, and any of these like vacuum mops and things like that. If your floors are uneven, they can kind of have a hard time getting certain areas. Obviously, if it's right here and your floor kind of dips down in this spot, it's going to run over it and kind of have a hard time getting that. So I did just want to mention that it's really not that big of a deal. I just usually go back to those areas and kind of run at it from a different angle, and that takes care of it, and it's not a problem. But if your floors are really uneven, you might have to kind of pay attention. If you live in a newer home, you're fine, you're good, you don't have to worry about it. All of us people in old houses, we have to sometimes be a little creative if we've got some wonky spots, but that's okay. It's not that big of a deal, just worth mentioning. The last problem that I found that really was the biggest problem out of all of these, and one that I didn't expect to find, was that after watching videos and talking to my family about this mop, because yes, we all watched these videos and we all talked about it before, reaching out and getting this, was my 7-year-old keeps feeding the mop. That has been my biggest problem. She was so excited to try to see what all this thing can pick up that as I'm mopping at various amounts of time, she'll just walk up and like throw stuff at it. We made burgers the first day we got this, and she was like, are we going to feed it a burger? And I said, no, we are not going to waste our food on a mop. We need to eat our food. Times are rough, like budget is tight. We're not going to waste a burger. So she was like, what about a pickle? So I said, okay. So I put off like a bite of a pickle, and I threw that on the floor. It picked it up, no problem. So then she took a whole pickle and chucked it down real quick in front of me as I was mopping. So yes, it can mop up an entire pickle. The biggest problem I have found is that my kids all think this mop is so cool that they continue to like feed it stuff and throw stuff to it to see if it can pick it up. It's picked up absolutely everything. So props to MopRobo, it does do that. How to get your kids to stop feeding the mop isn't a problem I thought I was going to have, yet here I am. So that's been my biggest drawback. So while this can now go down in history as probably the lengthiest review of MopRobo, that is okay. I am so in for it because I think if you're going to make an investment like this, you should know exactly what you're getting. You should see it working in a real home with real messes and get a real review from someone. And I hope that you have found that here. Be sure to like this video if you found it helpful. Send it to a friend who might be considering checking out MopRobo, but wants to see if it really does work like they say it does, okay? And not just to pick up burgers, but to actually clean your house. Would I purchase this 1,000 times over? The fact that it has the pressure and actually scrubs your floors, it really does give you a clean. Like if you were to get down, I used to do this with my tile floors where I would just get down once a week and like scrub them with a scrub brush and wipe it up. That's what I feel like this gives me. It is like if I manually got down and scrubbed my floors, only it's not. It's me walking around with this beautiful little contraption. It takes me a matter of minutes. It is super simple. Anyone can do it. And my floors are so clean. I am a massive texture person. I always have on socks or slippers or something. I cannot stand walking on dirty floors. It just nuts me out. I walk barefoot through my house now since having this mop. Like that's how clean my floors are. It's easy. It's pretty. But it works so unbelievably well. And so, like I said, there's a couple drawbacks. I expected my amount of hair with 14 animals to be a little much. I rinse it out. It's not that big of a deal. I have some uneven floors. I just go at this from a different angle. Okay. I need to get my kids to stop feeding it. That's a problem. But maybe you might not have that problem, or buy some cheap treats that they can give the vacuum. I don't know. It really is that fantastic. I am solely using this one here. I'm absolutely loving it. I just cannot believe how well it works. And having that downforce to really scrub the floors, having such an easy cleanup process, not having a bunch of tubing and funky areas and, you know, pressure and stuff that gets off that you have to deal with and filters you have to change out, really does make this thing so simple, so nice. Work smarter, not harder. Do yourself a favor. Check out MopRobo. Of course, I have a special link for you all down, linked below in the comments, in my description. Go and check that out. Check one of these out. See if it works well for you. Leave me a comment. If you have gotten one, what do you think? Do you feed yours hamburgers, or do those go to the people? I would love to know. Thank you, MopRobo, for sending this over. Biggest review on MopRobo. Here you go, internet. This thing's fantastic. I'll see you all right back here in the next video. Bye, friends.